all this efficiency. And I've got to think that your time in the military, definitely being airborne, had some kind of influence on your approach to business. And tell me, like, when you first came into the real estate, your real estate development is where you started, right?
Correct.
When
Correct.
you first came into real estate development, fresh from military service, what was standing out? Like, what seemed like so odd that you had to ask somebody, "Is this normal?"
So, kind of what I've alluded to in that story, which was the shifting of information across companies in a scattered environment, whether that was email chains, Excel files, meeting notes, and then trying to consolidate it. So, like, being from the developer side and with the role and responsibility of ensuring project success, I had to pull all this information together without a platform. I was using Excel, and recognizing that it wasn't sustainable, wasn't efficient, it wasn't productive to do that manually, throughout a project, especially if you had more than one, active at a time, to then alert people that they need to respond to, then use that information to report to, our boss as well as the lender to, collaborate with the city. And in that madness, in that mess, we realized that it wasn't the way, it wasn't organized, it wasn't structured. And I'll use those two terms as kind of a plug to kind of what military is. It's very organized, very structured, where you have repetitive processes in order to produce efficiency.
Yeah, you got standards in the military, right? And you're airborne, so you're jumping on airplanes, right?
Correct.
Or not. So you're jumping on
Correct.
airplanes, construction parallels for the listeners. Paint us a picture. What was it like for before you jumped? What did the military do to get you ready for your first jump?
Definitely. So actually these protocols are pretty typical no matter where you are, coming from the perspective of infantry. And probably that has overlap with other divisions as well. But then I'll say even more so when you're airborne, because obviously you have that added element of danger jumping out of a plane, right? So taking these perspectives is the understanding that, first of all, showing up every day, putting in effort, putting in work, because when you show up and when you put in work, that allows you, work meaning training, right? Training,
Right.
learning, checking, that allows for the, largest potential positive outcome. I'll call it. I'm talking kind of broadly here. With that said, on your kind of day to day and these parallels with what goes on in construction is, you got your checklist, you got your equipment checks, you got your, scrum meetings, right? You're meeting with your team and understanding what you're accomplishing for that day. You have then your after action reports. You're checking how your day was and what was good, what was bad. Then you're going to your next day and repeating that cycle while also improving on whatever area you could improve on.
Yeah, so that protocol you talked about, like getting ready, and we're like jumping at the bit. Like construction people, we know construction, we know that frustration. I mean, you just mentioned like a lot of work, a lot of pre work to happen before the
Definitely.
actual work can happen. Are you doing checklists? Is it like body conditioning? So, like, if I blindfolded you, would you be able to get ready to jump out of a plane blindfolded? Are you that well trained? Is there that much rigor that goes in to getting you ready? And I'm gonna bring this back to real estate development. I'm just setting you up, Adam, right now. Don't worry.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. Happy to talk any topic really. So the answer is yes. I mean, in reality, the majority of our jumps, and when I say majority, that's like 95+% are actually at night. So you do lose a lot of visibility. Not to say you can't see anything, but that is to say that you have to be so comfortable with your actions, with what you're doing, that you can do it at night, that you can do it in conditions that are less than ideal, right? And I'll actually add one more element that I missed is the ability to work with people that you didn't necessarily grow up with, that you weren't necessarily, would be hanging out with, or that you wouldn't necessarily know, right? That's another element in military training that also translates very well into no matter what you do, right? Is understanding how to be empathetic to others that you need to work with, how to communicate with others that, may have different opinions or perspectives or, upbringings.
Yeah. So with all that, you get out of the military, you go to work for this real estate development company. Your buddy's working at a competitive firm.
Mhm.
Did you guys get together and talk? When are we gonna get trained? Like, when's the training gonna happen? Because I gotta think that, a lot of people say OJT,
Mhm.
right? But does it happen when your boss yells at you for doing the wrong thing, for missing a deadline? Is getting yelled at in a real estate development office considered OJT?
It's funny